Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm Jessica Abernathy, and with me today is Trisha Montgomery, and you are listening to Pets Are Family. Hey, Trisha, how are you doing today?
Hey, Jessica, I'm great. How are you?
Besides trying to figure out my lighting, because now my glasses are not messing up. Other than that, I'm great.
You got a little shots there going on,
Yeah,
a little
line right here.
Look very beautiful though. How are you?
I'm doing good. I can't complain. I feel better
So
today.
that's what I was saying. So you had some multiple vaccinations the other day, and not you were feeling 100%.
No, I was the queen of let's see how many vaccinations you can get in one day. Yep.
Oh, yuck, 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 yuck. Well, vaccination season is upon us. Yeah, we could even touch upon that for talking about vaccinations in our pets as well.
Correct.
A lot of different opinions on that. Yeah. So, yeah. So you had which ones did you had? You had shingles, you had COVID, you had I don't know.
Figured if Teddy can get all his at one time, I can get all mine at one time. You know what I mean? Now
Why not?
Right?
Why not?
Yeah.
Well, now you can kind of compare it though now, because now you know that when our pets get vaccinations, how they feel and how we're feeling after those vaccinations. Because you could not even get off the couch yesterday, if that's right.
I did make it to the office for about 6 hours, but it was couch, office, but I didn't get out of my pajamas though.
Okay, well, let's just preface this. Your office is in your home, so It wasn't like you're getting in the car and actually driving to the office in your pajamas. So just in case anybody had a visual of Jessica driving in her, gremlin pajamas, I don't know.
No, it was PJs. Yeah, it was not pretty yesterday. It was couch, office, couch, and that was it,
Whenever I think of pajamas, I think of trundle bundles. Remember trundle bundles? Or is it just me who remembers trundle bundles?
I don't know.
It's like a onesie. It's the onesie with like the trundle bundle.
I've never heard of onesie called a trundle bundle.
My mom called them trundle bundles because I think it was a cuter word than probably a onesie. Onesie is, onesie. It's a trundle bundle.
Did they have the little flap in the back?
They do. They have a little flap in the back.
No, those are called long johns.
Just in time for Christmas. That can be part of our new merchandise that we have on our website. It's for family trundle bundles or onesies.
I that's all. You don't make me speechless very often, but that one did. If I can find onesies, I might, with our logo, you might be getting some for Christmas. That's all I'm gonna.
I love that. I love it. You gotta think about it. Christmas, I hate to say this, it's right around the corner. It's, like a couple months away. So that's something to think about here. Days are going by faster, but what I don't understand is it's so gosh darn dark first thing in the morning. I'm like, I want it to be light. When I wake up at 5 a.m., it should be light. Why? Why not?
Well, because it should revolve around you, right? You know what I mean? It should be light when you're up, and it should be light until you go to sleep.
It should just come from my inner light, like my, all that glow around me every day.
From your sparkle, right?
Very warm today, by the way. Oh my God.
Well, I mean, we got to turn back the clock soon. That's my favorite day of the year. I don't know if you know that or not. I like that better than Christmas and my birthday and everything. That fall back. I just like that extra hour of sleep. I never take it, but I like it. I always like that extra hour.
Oh, it's there in like a little bank. I think share if you could turn back time. If I could turn back time, I don't know what would happen, but it'd be a good thing.
Right. So who are we going to have on today?
We have on a really dear friend of mine and a longtime friend of mine. Her name is Cindy Briney. And Cindy has been in rescue for forever. She's been a beautiful an advocate for rescue. Okay. She sits on the board for Jasper Animal Rescue Mission out of Beaufort, South Carolina. But she has a passion for Dachshunds, and she's always adopted and her dedication to animal welfare and rescue groups, and for pet parenting, and just for really giving her pups their best life, is somebody, she's just very near and dear to my heart. And when we were talking about, really talking about that real talk with real people and pet parents, this is what we're talking about, getting on those real pet parents who can talk about what's important in their, and what they feel.
Yeah, I like wiener dogs. That's what we grew up calling them, little wiener dogs. Those little Doxies, those little legs. I like low riders. I love low riders. I just haven't.
I love riders, but I know, or really it's about Doxies. They have a little bit of a Napoleon complex, if I just say that. They have a lot of barkers, and they can intimidate the fiercest of dogs, even the largest of dogs, just by their bark and just like getting under their feet. But those are her dogs. She's had Doxies for as long as I've known her, and she's got two now. One is Mozart and one is Harlow, and her two other pups passed away, Molly and Savannah, and has always adopted those. And I love what she does. She'll tell the story of how she got one of them to lose weight. One of them came in as just this obese dachshund, and we all know that, especially on smaller dogs and those breeds, obesity can be a killer. And how she worked to correct that obesity with them as well. And I was with her for a time, and we both used to step on the scale. In that Saturday morning weigh-in.
Oh God. Yeah. No, we had a Doxie when we were growing up. Her name was Greta. But Greta, and we had an Old English, and Greta, it didn't matter. Our Old English was a good 100 pounds, and Greta was maybe 15, maybe. But Greta ruled that roost, man. She ruled everything. She ruled the neighborhood. You know what I mean? Nobody messed with her. Nope. No.
Well, that's a dachshund for you. That's definitely a dachshund for you. So yeah, I've never had I've always been a big dog person. Even when I had Moose, he was a low rider, but Moose was a big dog. I mean, Moose was weighing in at about, a good 45, 50 pounds. So yeah.
No, I like the little ones. I like the one you could pick up, and I got to be able to pick them up and take them with me.
I just want to snuggle. I just want you to. I just like when I like big mutts, and I cannot lie.
Oh, we're not.
Thank you, Gila Kurtz from Dog is Good. I think I stole that from your T-shirt.
I was gonna say we're not singing that tonight. We're not singing. No singing.
I'm not singing today. I could have sang. If we could turn back time by Cher, I could have sang I like big mutts, and I did not sing today. And I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's a new day for me. I've turned over a leaf, but didn't sing today. But there's always that possibility.
Oh, the day's not over yet. And nor is this podcast, nor is it. So, all right, well, let's go get Cynthia then. All right.
Yep.
Here we go.
Hi, Cindy Briney. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me. It's such a pleasure to talk to other people who are working for animal welfare and love their pets like family.
That is so right. That's everything that is about Pets Are Family and Pets Are Family podcast. Cindy, so you have a passion for dachshunds. Where did that come from? Was your first animal a dachshund? Was your first pet a dachshund? How did that come about?
No, actually, my first pet was a cat, and that is very unusual because I now would not associate myself with cats. But we always had a family dog. So the typical family dog, the beagle, the cocker spaniel, ones that you certainly associate with a family pet that everybody was a part of. But then my first my own pet was a full-size Doberman. I went very large and found that wasn't really very reasonable in an apartment. So I then went to miniature pinchers, so same breed. And when I had those min pins, a lot of people were afraid of them. And so I changed, because they were so tiny, but they thought they were big dogs. So at that time, I got my first chocolate dachshund, and Cooper was wonderful and just got everyone engaged, my family, my friends, neighbors. And so I've stayed with the breed since that time, and rescued several who were quite overweight. I got one that was over 20 pounds, and she was a mini.
Ooh, wow.
Savannah actually went down to almost 15 pounds, half her weight after rescuing her. Molly was also very overweight, and they just had been fed, because dachshunds love to eat, and their parents had indulged them. And so I just got them on a regular diet and exercise. And now I have two long-haired miniature dachshunds, Mozart, who's 2.5, and I'll bring them on camera in a little bit. They're being very patient while we're talking, so we'll disturb them at the end of the podcast. And also Harlow, who is a blonde long-haired dachshund, and I named her because of the song Betty Davis Eyes. Her hair is Harlow Gold. So
I love that. I love that. Oh my gosh. But dachshunds are known for barking. Am I correct about that? They're the barkers, and they do engage people. How does that work out sometimes when you're taking the walks and going through the neighborhoods?
Well, I think you have to acknowledge why they're barking. A lot of times they're excited and they're telling me a neighbor's coming or another dog is coming. There's no one that can come to my front door. I say I have, 2 doorbells, and their names are Mozart and Harlow. But you basically just have to acknowledge them. They'll keep barking. They're trying to tell you something. And the new pup, Harlow, barks at me when she wants to eat, barks at me, she's talking. And so I think that's the question, is what is the behavior and why are they barking? Is so important.
Right.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, every breed has a like a job or something. They were bred to do something. And I can't remember what Doxies, I should have looked it up before we talked to you, but what were Doxies bred to do? Because I wonder if that has to do with the barking.
They were badger hunters.
Okay.
So they were bred low so they could go into a tunnel and trap the badger. And so they would then bark when they found it. So that was their tell.
Right.
And so that's why you see they like to burrow in your bed or in a blanket. If they can find a place to get under, they will do that.
Yeah, but that makes sense with the barking too, though, because that makes they're alerting you for something. So that makes sense with the barking. Like I have a Shih Tzu. He was bred to keep your feet warm, and he always that's what they were bred for. You know what I mean? And he always sleeps at the foot of my bed, and he's always right by my feet, always. So, but that makes sense with the barking. You know what I mean? If you guys get what I'm going at.
Yeah.
I get it.
So you'll never stop it. I think people try to stop it. They give them bark collars. You need to just reward it when it's good, and then, correct them when it's too much. And I think that's with any behavior.
Right.
I find that fascinating too, Cindy, because I've seen you do this where you say the good bark. What are you trying to tell me? Instead of saying, be quiet, where you see a lot of pet parents who are walking their dogs saying, no bark, but they need to have that voice. They need to bark. And, they're trying to talk. They're trying to tell us something. What are they trying to tell us?
Right.
Only we could decipher that and find out what's in their minds. I think
you have to know dachshund speak.
Cindy, you also do a much volunteering with animal rescues. Tell us a little bit about that. I mean, when you talk about volunteering, you really do more than volunteer. Tell me about that. And you're still bringing aboard now.
Yes, well, I think that came from my parents. They showed me that you need to give back to the community. My mother, was the Girl Scout leader. My father donated all kinds of technology, PCs and all that to the grade school, the high school, where each of us were attending. So I grew up with that idea that you should be giving back if it's possible, if it's within your power. So, that's hard to do when you're working and you've got other responsibilities, but I did always try to make my contributions and donations of time or money or items when I could. But after I retired and was in this retirement community, I immediately joined the Dog and Pet Lovers Club of Sun City. And then I found the only thing with volunteering is if you do a good job, they want you to do more. So first I was a member, then I was the vice president, then I was the president. Now I'm the past president. So you do have to realize when you're volunteering, you're making a commitment, just like you're making a commitment to a rescue pet or any pet that you have. But I do think that you have to find out with volunteering what works for you. Is it your time? Is it asking people for donations? Is it just bringing old towels and blankets to the shelter? So, and especially with people that are getting older, you have to find that right balance for them. They may not be able to walk a 100-pound dog. So that's not a good way for you to try to engage other volunteers. But I am recently appointed to the board of Jasper Animal Rescue Mission, which is in Ridgeland, South Carolina. And JARM has, dogs, cats, feral cats, they are really dealing with all of the animals in a community that is not always really aware of spay neuter or other ways to treat a pet. A lot of those people grew up with a pet on a farm or always outside. So there's lots of issues and opportunities for volunteering and finding these animals a good home.
And JARM is located in really not a very well-to-do or a wealthy area. It's more of, and I think that's where a lot of the education comes from. And what you know. I think I also want to bring you back to what I like to call our 3 T's: our time, our treasures, and our talents. So volunteering or giving can mean those 3 things, whether it's, writing a letter, whether it's contacting someone, or whether it's physically going in and doing the dishes. There are all things that we can do. And I think from a pet parenting perspective, we are aware right now there's a crisis going on in animal welfare and many organizations, not just in the South, but really nationwide. Cindy, how can people give back to these rescues and these animal welfare organizations? What's the best pathway to go about doing something like that?
Well, I think the best, I find there are people who have taken on one aspect of it. And by that, I mean, each of the rescue organizations within the Hilton Head, Savannah, and Bluffton, Ridgeland area have thrift shops. And so even if you're going there and donating to the shop, and whenever you donate, you always end up buying something before you leave. But even those are sources of income for the welfare of the pets. So that's so easy to do. And also there are people here who will pick up the food. If you've lost a pet, don't just throw things out. Another pet could use it. Or maybe you use that to foster a pet. But I think that takes more of a commitment to be able to foster the animals, but there are a lot of kittens and puppies that really would do best in a home if they have been, dropped at the shelter.
Oh my goodness, you're so correct about that. I also want to talk about something else. We mentioned, so you're a dachshund lover, Cindy. Jessica and I had this conversation, I don't know, a couple podcasts ago, and we were talking about when people find out that we like something or that we have a passion for something, they purchase all kinds of things. Cindy, you have a lot of things that are dachshund in your house, including the top that you're wearing.
Yes, including my
Yes,
shirt. Let me see. I have a dachshund necklace on. I have some dog bones on my ears. Yes, and I have dachshund everything. I actually have a dachshund toaster. When you make your toast, it puts the picture of a dachshund on it. So I will have this tremendous collection whenever someone has to clean out my house, and they will say, what was going on with the dachshunds here? And so it is dangerous, especially when you have friends and family who search for dachshund planters and any other item that you can come up with. A dachshund wine opener.
Oh, there you go. Etsy.
Mhm.
Just go to Etsy. Etsy has everything.
Right.
Yeah. I have a thing for Highland cows, but see the difference. But people don't know the difference.
That's harder.
Yeah, that's a hard one. So I don't say much because people are like cow, and I'm like, no. I like the Highland cow. Once again, I like low riders. I like everything low and miniature. You know what I mean? But people don't get it. Yeah, it's yeah. I have a girlfriend of mine that liked rubber duckies. She named her company Ducks in a Row. That poor girl. I mean, I feel bad for her. I mean, she has one room in her house that was all rubber ducks. I mean, like
More than a bathtub full?
Oh my gosh. I mean, the rubber ducks that she got, it was insane. I was just like, I did not know there were that many types of rubber ducks, let alone that like you said, dachshunds. I was like, I had no idea. So I get it. I feel bad.
I think the toaster is the one that is one of the most unique that I've ever seen or heard so far.
The wine opener. Nope. The wine opener got me. I was like, that's, and if it was an electric wine opener, that would even better.
No, I haven't got that yet, but I'm sure someone's looking for it.
Now they are. Once you hear
Yes.
that, yeah, now they hear it. You can send it to us. We'll make sure she gets it. Yeah, we'll make sure she after we demo it.
Right.
Demo it.
Great idea. Cindy, you're also very well known. You in the Dog Lovers Club, you've won multiple awards, is that correct? And prizes for your costumes with your dogs. Can you touch upon that a little bit?
Yeah, well, we try to engage the community, and we do bring the rescue organizations in, the veterinarians, any of the boarding places. We have them speak at the club each month. But our major event was actually Halloween, HOWL, of course. And so each of us had to dress up, and we give prizes. And even though I was the MC, they felt my costume received first prize. So that's super fun. And we also have been collaborating with other clubs. So we just recently had an adoption event on softball day. They made hot dogs for everybody and sold them for $1. And we had dogs there for rescue. And I'm so proud of the community. They raised over $2,000 in a softball game. And also 4 dogs were adopted.
Aw, that's great.
So we try to bring, the dog rescue into play anytime we have a larger group of people. And it is unique again with seniors to get the right dog for them, the right size, the right temperament. So it's really a matchmaking effort.
Yeah, and I think that's an important topic to talk about from a senior perspective, because as we know, dogs, they're increasing our life expectancy. They're making us stress-free. The anxiety is going down. They're increasing our serotonin, our risk for heart disease, diabetes, and more. But it is finding that right pet for you and making sure, because when you think about a senior, they may have, hip surgery or, any other items, and being able to make sure that they are not, you know, they have the wherewithal to take care of those pets.
Well, just recently, I saw a dog walking with an individual who was using a walker. And that is so, those kinds of training are so much like a therapy dog, or, not just that they really are a therapy dog, but they have learned what works for their parent. And I see a lot of dogs riding in the golf carts. I'm not sure they're getting quite the same exercise, but they are getting fresh air. So, you see different behaviors here. And I do think that that is part of the crisis in the shelters, is if someone is no longer able to care for their pet and their children or a family member can't take that pet, oftentimes they do go back to the shelter. So we try to do a lot of rehoming within the community, or just getting a group of people to come and walk the dog or to take them out, but because it's just at that time when people are growing older that they love their pets even more. And so they want them to be there. So we've tried to get like a group of people that will commit to helping that person keep their pet as long as possible.
I love that. I love that. Cindy, are there any tips that you would give for new pet parents in closing, that things that you would offer, just as you being a long time dog and a cat owner? What are some things that you recommend to a new pet parent or someone who is considering adopting or even going to an animal rescue or an animal shelter? What are the things that you would recommend for them to understand or to learn?
Well, I think the first thing I would say is to go with an open mind. A lot of people come and say, I want a German Shepherd, and they have that stuck in their mind. And so they're waiting for a purebred German Shepherd to come into the shelter. So I think that your best bet is to come and say, what kind of lifestyle do you have? Is it going to be active? Are you going to want someone to warm your feet? We have a lot of Shih Tzus in Sun City. But I think you need to come with, what is your lifestyle and what kind of pet do you think would be right for you, rather than coming with a specific breed in your mind. Because there are pure breeds in shelters, there are mixes, there are adorable small ones, and there are gentle large ones. We have a tremendous population of greyhounds. And we have a greyhound club here in Sun City, and those are the gentle giants, and they work in this community. We do have dog parks in several parts of the community, so that allows for the dogs to exercise and the people to connect. But the other thing I think people think is, when you get a rescue, they're just going to come into your house and be perfect. They're housebroken. They, are trained. They somehow think they're ready. And that is the one thing that I would say, people don't want to get a puppy because you have to go through all the training and getting them to be a good dog. But the truth is, you have to go through a transition period with a rescue or a rehome as well. They are in a new surrounding, they're with new people, they may have accidents, they may act up, they may stop eating. You have to work through all of those issues and be so patient.
I think patience is the key, and people don't often think about that. You know, like you say, there is a transition period, and what does that transition period look like? And having that, you know, that patience to say, okay, this is what's going to happen, and the education as well. So I think that's important. Jessica, anything that we have in closing for Cindy? And just, Cindy, how can people get a hold of you if they want to learn more about you, if they want to support JARM, if there anything that they want to learn, if they want to open up their own dog club, how can they get a hold of you?
Well, I'd be glad if anyone does reach out to you and want that kind of assistance. I'm certainly available. I'm on Facebook as Cindy Briney. And also, you know, you have my contact information if someone does have an interest. I never thought this would be my specialty. I'm an IT consultant. I worked with computers, not animals, and yet this has been my second passion. But let me show you my two, if you'll give me just one moment to grab them.
I was gonna say Harley is behind you because I saw her walk back there. She's cute.
Well, when I bring one, the other one certainly comes.
Oh,
This is Mozart, and he is just a lover. He came from Arkansas. I drove all the way to get him because he needed a new home. And so that's the other thing. You may not find your dog. Come on. He doesn't want to be on the camera. He's like, so here we go. There you are. Nope, he doesn't want to be on camera.
It's like, nope.
But I think you may not find your, you know, perfect animal in your home. And here is Harlow. And she is definitely the feisty one. And she jumps on her brother. She has a mohawk. You can see her little white tuft of hair there. And so they've been just so much fun.
I love them.
She's like, yep.
Oh, thank you very much.
Oh, yes, I think I need a kiss from you. Cindy, thank you for being on with us today. We have one last question for you and Party. How do you make your pets feel like family, Cindy?
I would say that I talk to them and let them be a part of my social life. I feel like I co-parent them with my neighbors, Leon and Lorraine, who have had Dachshunds also, but now feel they're not in a position to be able to take care of one, but they certainly love spending time with them, and they are definitely a part of their family as well as mine.
I love that. Thank you for being with us, Cindy. So much appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you for what you guys do.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.
I love her. I think she's actually going to send us a picture of her, and which may give people some ideas for Halloween. I think she was dressed as a Queen of Hearts, and her dogs were dressed as like cards, hearts and spades, and it was very cool.
Yeah, I could see her doing that.
Definitely. So
I was a little floored when she said that she's retired. I look older than she does. I'm like, how?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
She is not retired. First of all, she has I think she still consults, and I think she works for a company in Ireland right now for consulting. But she's a mentor. She's just a wealth of knowledge. What I found to be really interesting, and she made a point here. She talked about Lorraine and Leon, her neighbors.
Yeah.
And one thing that I think that we don't often think about, say that you do want a dog, but maybe you don't have the space for one, or you're in a location or an apartment or another area that maybe does not allow you to have dogs. Or maybe, you know, that you're not, to have a dog is maybe too much. But she co-parents with Lorraine and Leon, and it allows them to have a dog, have those wonderful benefits.
and babysit sometimes. And I think that's something that people should think about too, if they want a dog, if they're considering getting a dog, or if they, want the benefits, but maybe, borrow someone else's dog or co-parent a dog. I thought that was a beautiful sentiment for pet parenting.
I have a girlfriend of mine that co-parents with her mom. So she calls it her brother dog. So she goes and picks up her brother dog often and gets and takes care of him. She doesn't want to have him full time. So they kind of share him. So yeah, I know
Right.
people that do that, and it's smart, you know what I mean? That way you've
I
got
think it is.
At least he's got a good home,
Yeah.
Spoiled rotten.
Agreed. And I love how she talked about with volunteering that, it doesn't have to be, physically going there. You can make phone calls, you can drop off things. And I think a lot of times we have extra items laying around, and, whether sometimes we throw them away, but think about the animal rescues and the organizations that need supplies, that need extra blankets that we may not think are anything or anything of value to someone else or to an animal rescue group. That's extremely valuable to them.
Well, think about it. We always throw away old towels because we're like, oh,
Yeah.
I'll never use it. I mean, and a rescue would use that in a heartbeat, things like that.
Absolutely.
Or blankets, and you're like, oh, I'll never use that again.
Yeah.
Anytime I get rid of any kind of bedding or towels or anything like that, I always drop it off and say, could you use it? If not, pitch it for me, So yeah.
They're going to always use it. I know whenever I was with Paws Humane Society, I mean, anything, we always needed so many supplies. And that in and of itself is just, whether it's an old towel, it doesn't matter if it has holes in it or stains in it. We don't care. They need those items. And that's a beautiful form of volunteering as well, and giving back.
Yeah, Teddy's got a huge toy box of we call them babies, just stuffed animals. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to take those to the rescue down the road, just because he's blind now, and he doesn't. I mean, when he could see, he would always go into it and bring me one every time I walked in the door. But now he just he hops in place now. Instead, when I walk through the door, he knows it's me because he hears my voice, but he just sits there and hops in place. I really can't see anything, so I'm just going to hop right here now.
Oh.
Yeah, but I'm really excited.
Oh.
So that's what he does now. Before, he would bring me a baby and then we would play fetch for a few minutes.
Right.
But now it's just, I'm going to hop in place. So that's his new thing he does. So I have a ton of stuffed toys, and I'm just like, I probably should just donate those. But Mom's having a hard time getting rid of them, just because I don't want to admit that he's having a hard time seeing things.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I should do that, because I know that the rescue would, each little guy in there would appreciate having a little stuffy, I know that.
They will. And how important that is. And yeah, in giving back, and it's had beautiful love and beautiful use. And so now another pup can have that use as well, and that good vibes that come through it too.
And they all have the tags on, because he likes to take the tags off. So they all have a tag on.
Oh, wow. That is so cool. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. So, all right.
Well, I guess in closing, Jessica, I'll let you wrap it up, because I did last time.
How do I make my pups feel like family? Or how do you make your pups? You just heard how I make my pup feel like family right there. There's one of my little things. I always bring him a stuffy from everywhere I travel. I bring him home a stuffed animal from somewhere. But how do you make your pets feel like family? And we'll talk to you soon. We want to say thank you for listening to today's episode. You can find us on all of the channels, Apple, Google, Spotify, and anywhere that you're listening. We want to say thank you. We want to give a shout out to some of our sponsors, Joke, Augie Bones, Forged and Form, and Moose's March is our charity. Just as you guys know, Trisha lost her Mr. Moose a couple of years back to cancer, and we formed a charity for Moose, and we are helping other family members get through pet cancer. So if you have it in your heart to make a donation, go over to our website, Moose's March, and you can make a donation, see how you can help. If you have a story you want to share with us, feel free to share a story. We'd love to hear it. November is Pet Cancer Month, and we would love to hear about it. So feel free to come over there. And as always, shout out to my girl, Kathy Delaney at Naps You know, Kathy, I give you my love. So if you're always looking for a professional pet sitter, always go over to the National Association of Professional Pet Sitters. We will give you the best pet care that they can find. You know that. You know, I'm a big fan because I am a professional pet sitter, and that's my organization. So once again, thank you all for listening to us. Wait till next week. We'll have something amazing for you guys. And again, thank you for the love and support. If you want to talk to me, it's Jessica at petsourfamily.net. You can reach out to Trisha at petsourfamily.net. Join our email list. Keep us up to date what's going on. Share the love. Hope to see you guys soon. Talk to you later. Mwah.